Hey guys, welcome to The Reality Pill, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of modern dating culture. And of course, here's your meme of the day. You know, I love when they just tell on themselves, like, the honesty is almost refreshing, almost. But then you realize they're not connecting the dots between point A and point B. They never do. And that's why we're here. Well, they said you could have it all. They told you that spending your 20s strategically dating wealthy men for class mobility was just smart financial planning. They told you that treating men as walking ATM machines while offering nothing but attitude was empowering. And now, after hitting 40, it seems like reality is finally hitting. You know, the thing that blows my mind about these women, and by these women I mean the boss babes who spent their entire 20s treating dating like a business transaction, is how they genuinely cannot understand why the bill eventually comes due. They treated men as resources to be extracted, networks to be exploited, and stepping stones to be discarded. And now, a decade later, they're sitting in front of cameras wondering why they're alone, aging and full of regret. It's absolutely mind-boggling. The entitlement, the lack of self-awareness, the complete inability to connect their own choices to their current circumstances, it's like watching someone set their own house on fire and then complain about the housing market. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. Exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so we've got a woman here who spent her entire 20s exclusively dating men for money. Not for love, not for connection money. She treated relationships like a career networking event, and now at 29, she's starting to realize the game she's been playing might have some consequences. We got a 29-year-old woman here on TikTok explaining her most problematic finance advice. She claims that dating men with money is just smart class mobility. That who you pick as a partner is the most important financial decision of your life. Not compatibility, not values, not love, financial strategy. Let's see where this goes.
Only date men with money. As a young single woman, you have two options. You can date men with money and you can date men with no money. This is my most problematic finance advice and something that none of the financial gurus are going to tell you. But who you pick as your partner is the most important financial decision of your life. Dating men with money is a massive shortcut into high net worth financial circles. The networking and connections are amazing. It's also the fastest way to get class mobility. I know this is taboo, but it's true. The opportunities, the connections, again, the class mobility that have come from dating men that have their bag is absolutely insane. And I do credit some of my career success to that. I know a lot of women don't talk about this. It's very taboo, but just don't waste your time on broke men.
Give me a freaking break. Did you catch that? Did you hear what she actually said? She credits some of her career success to dating wealthy men. Not her skills, not her education, not her work ethic, dating. She treated men like career stepping stones, like networking opportunities, like human LinkedIn connections with bank accounts. And she has the audacity to frame this as financial advice. Yeah, I don't think that's how the dating market works, sweetheart. You don't get to treat people as resources to be extracted and then wonder why nobody wants to stick around when your value proposition starts declining. The math doesn't work that way, the market doesn't forgive. But wait, it gets even better. Because this same woman, this same financial strategist who treated dating like a wealth-building exercise is about to get a reality check that no amount of networking can fix. Now, of course, out of context, it might be hard to understand what's going on here. She wants to use romantic relationships purely for financial and professional advancement. She wants access to high net worth circles without earning her way in. She wants class mobility through association, not achievement. She wants to extract value from men while offering what exactly? Her presence? Her taboo advice? The privilege of funding her lifestyle? Basically, she's admitting to what we all already knew was happening. She's confirming that for a certain type of modern woman, dating isn't about connection or partnership, it's about extraction. It's about finding a man who can elevate her social and financial status while she contributes. Well, we'll get to what she contributes in a minute. And now, obviously, here's the problem. Here's the problem. She spent her entire 20s, her peak dating market value years, treating men as means to an end. Not as partners, not as human beings with their own goals and dreams, as resources. She credits her career success to the men she dated, not to her own efforts, her own talents, her own hustle, to the men she extracted value from. The hypocrisy is stunning. This is the same woman who would absolutely lose her mind if a man said he dated women for their connections, their social circles, their professional networks. If a man admitted to treating relationships as business transactions, she'd be the first one calling him manipulative, exploitative, toxic. But when she does it, it's smart financial planning. It's class mobility. It's taboo but true. But that's not the only absurd part about this. The angle modern women are taking here is that transactional dating is actually empowering when they do it, that using people for professional advancement is just playing the game, that extracting resources from men while offering nothing but temporary companionship is somehow feminist praxis. But this entire premise is such nonsense. If a man went on TikTok and said, only date women with rich fathers, it's the fastest way to get startup capital, he'd be crucified. If a man admitted to dating women for their professional connections and social circles, he'd be called a user, a manipulator, a predator. The double standard is absolutely unreal. But of course, it gets even worse. It's not just a transactional mindset. It's not just the admission that she treated dating like a career strategy. It's also the fact that she's 29 years old now, and the clock is ticking, and she's starting to realize that the men she was extracting value from, the ones with actual wealth and status, they're not looking to settle down with someone who treated them as stepping stones, and for me, it really begs the question, what did she think was going to happen? Did she think these high net worth men she was dating didn't notice they were being used? Did she think they couldn't tell when someone was networking instead of connecting? Did she think the bill would never come due? I mean, just look at what happens when this mentality continues unchecked. When the date for money strategy meets the wall head on, and of course, it's not just her. This didn't just happen in a vacuum. We've also seen this exact pattern play out with women who took the transactional dating mindset even further, who didn't just want access to wealth, but demanded to be served by it. Let me show you what I mean. We got another woman here who dates men worth over $50 million, and she has some very specific requirements for how these men need to treat her. Let's roll the tape.
Listen, I date men that are worth over $50 million, which means that if you think asking for a black car being sent to you by just a regular person is like not achievable, you need to raise your standards. I ask them sometimes on the first date, but definitely by the second date, to give me a gift. Now, I'm not going to tell them what to gift me because I want to see how generous they are, but they are not allowed to get me flowers because I already get myself flowers every week. Like, I don't need flowers, please. And I have a cat. You're going to fucking kill her. I have like literally standards and like ways that I conduct myself. So if you, as a man who is worth $50 million, generating millions of dollars, a lot of them are worth hundreds of millions of dollars because of their businesses. And they can't do small stuff like that. They can't put a date together, something nice, something generous, like a good conversation, like talk to me about what it is that you are going to do for me, how you're going to woo me, like talk about future plans, get to know me as a person. Like, no. Also, there's like no opening my legs. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. It's not on the table. It will never be. And I get everything that I want. They give me everything that I want and beyond. Because at the end of the day, a guy who has a CEO mindset, who is telling the entire world what to do every day, wants to be told what to do. You got to whip him into shape. Whip him. I'm not here to conform to him. I am not here to please him. He is there to please me. He is there to serve me. He is there to give me. Again, this is a very high, powerful net worth individual. So, not your average person who's making like less than 150K. And even like between 150 to like 400, it's a similar mindset because they got bills and savings and all of that. Like, you gotta go for the millions, honey. You gotta go for the millions. And never ever sleep with them because what if the next guy's richer that they introduce you to? And like nicer and kinder and more generous and more fun. Keep your options open.
Oh, hell no. What an absolute disaster. Did you catch all that? She's dating men worth $50 million, demands gifts by the second date, refuses to sleep with them, treats them like servants who exist to please me, serve me, give me, and then has the audacity to say men making $150, $400K aren't even worth her time. Yeah, I don't think that's how biology or the market works, sweetheart. You don't get to treat men as human ATMs. refuse intimacy, demand to be whipped into shape like some kind of dominatrix CEO, and then wonder why you're still single at. How old do you think she is? 35? 38? The wall doesn't forgive. This is what modern dating has become. Women who bring absolutely nothing to the table. No warmth, no partnership, no intimacy, no support, demanding everything while offering nothing but attitude and extraction strategies. He is there to serve me. Can you imagine if a man said that about women? If a man went on TikTok and said she's there to please me, serve me, give me, he'd be canceled before he finished the sentence. But she's not done. She actually advises other women to never ever sleep with them because what if the next guy's richer? This isn't dating. This isn't even gold digging. This is pure, unadulterated extraction. This is treating human beings as resource nodes to be farmed, and she thinks this is empowering. That's the pattern. That's the proof. These women genuinely believe they deserve the top 0.1% of men while offering nothing but demands and entitlement. And then they wonder why it doesn't work out. We've also seen where this mentality actually leads when the date for money strategy meets biological reality when the extraction phase ends and the regret phase begins. According to basic market dynamics, when you spend your peak years treating relationships as transactions, you don't develop the skills for actual partnership. You don't learn compromise, support, genuine connection. You learn extraction. And extraction has an expiration date. Let me show you what that expiration date looks like.
I do sometimes feel like I wasted my youth by not dating, getting into relationships, and doing the things that go along with that. Because, I'm 40 now, and I'm old. I'm officially old now. I'm going gray. I'm getting wrinkly. I'm going through changes. I'm old. And if I ever changed my mind and decided I did want to try to date, it's going to be exponentially more difficult than when I was, 22. And I do worry that the older I get, the more I'm going to regret the fact that I didn't take advantage of those years. And it's not that I didn't have any good times in my 20s and my teens and all of that. I did. I had some very, very good times. But I worry that missing out on all of those parts of life are going to catch up with me at some point in the future and make me really, really sad.
Welcome to the wall. Welcome to reality. Welcome to consequences. There it is. The bill coming due. The very, very good times in her 20s. What do you think those were? Do you think she was building a partnership, learning to compromise, developing the skills to be a wife and mother? Or do you think she was doing exactly what our first two clips showed, treating dating as extraction, men as resources, relationships as transactions? She's 40 now. She's officially old. She's going gray, getting wrinkly, going through changes, and suddenly she realizes that dating is going to be exponentially more difficult than when she was 22. Suddenly, she worries about regret. Suddenly, she realizes that missing out on all of those parts of life might make her really, really sad. Where was this energy at 25? Where was this self-awareness at 30? Where was the understanding that actions have consequences, that choices matter, that the dating market is not infinite and forgiving? The wall doesn't forgive. Biology doesn't care about your feelings. The men she could have built something with, the ones who might have actually loved her, not just funded her, they've moved on. They're married, they're happy. They're not interested in a 40-year-old woman who's just now realizing that treating relationships as business transactions might have been a mistake. This is what happens when you tell women they can have it all, that they can treat men as resources, dating as strategy, and partnership as optional. This is what happens when the boss babe mentality meets biological reality. And the part that kills me is that not only is all this entitlement and delusion clearly going on, but what they don't realize is that the men they were extracting value from, they noticed. They absolutely noticed. The $50 million CEO she was trying to whip into shape, he knew exactly what she was doing. The wealthy men she was networking with for career advancement. They could smell the extraction from a mile away. You know what happens when you treat people as means to an end? They eventually stop being available to be used. The high-value men these women targeted in their 20s, they learned, they adapted. They started looking for genuine connection, real partnership, women who offered something beyond demands and entitlement, and they found it with women who didn't treat dating as a financial strategy. The result, these boss babes hit 35, 38, 40, and suddenly the phone stops ringing. Suddenly the networking opportunities dry up. Suddenly they realize that the men they dismissed as broke or average have moved on, built families, found happiness, while they're sitting in front of cameras talking about how old they are and how much they regret everything. It's absolutely mind-boggling. This is what modern dating culture has created, an entire generation of women who treated their peak years as an extraction exercise and are now shocked to discover that the men they used aren't interested in being used anymore.
And something else I also hate is when men say, I want a whole soccer team full of kids. I want a baseball team. I want like 5 kids. It is so fucking easy for you to say that. It is so easy for you to say that. I actually do not think men should have an opinion at all on having children. I really don't. Okay, like you guys are going to come at me with like everyone is allowed to have their dreams for what they want in their life. Yeah, sure. But like I genuinely don't think that. I genuinely don't think men should have any say in whether a woman has kids or not. I don't. Like, I'm sorry. Okay, like, if you're like, oh, I want, like, a whole soccer team. It's like, yeah, of course you do. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is, like, maybe for 5 seconds, like, do a little something. Maybe if you're lucky for 5 seconds. Like, maybe. If a woman is, like, if you were lucky enough for a woman to choose to have a child with you, you should feel so fucking lucky, not entitled to it. You should feel so grateful and lucky and blessed and not at all entitled. Like, who are you to be like, yeah, like, she's gonna give me, like, this and this many kids. Girl, fuck you. Like, oh my God. And, like, yeah, of course you'd want to be a dad. Have you seen the way society treats fathers versus the way they treat mothers? Yeah, if I could be a dad, maybe I'd want kids too. Yeah, maybe I would. Oh my God, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care that some of you are gonna hate this. Okay, I genuinely do not think men should have any opinion at all on having children. I really don't.
And so, yeah, brothers, here's what you need to understand. Don't be the resource, don't be the stepping stone, don't be the networking opportunity she credits for her career success. Know your worth. You deserve better than being treated as a human LinkedIn connection with a bank account. If she's treating dating as a financial strategy, run. If she's talking about class mobility through relationships, run faster. If she demands gifts by the second date while offering nothing but attitude and extraction, you already know exactly who she is. Believe her, you deserve a partner who wants you for you, not for your connections, your status, your ability to fund her lifestyle. You deserve someone who offers genuine partnership, not a dominatrix CEO who thinks he is there to serve me. You deserve better than being whipped into shape by someone who brings nothing to the table but demands. So we've seen it all. The 29-year-old admitting she dated for class mobility, the woman demanding $50 million men serve her while she offers nothing, the 40-year-old hitting the wall and realizing she wasted her youth. This proves everything we've been saying. Welcome to reality. The wall doesn't forgive. Biology doesn't care about your feelings. The dating market is not a charity and consequences are real. You don't get to treat men as resources for a decade and then demand partnership when your value proposition has declined. The math doesn't work. The market doesn't lie. These women told us exactly who they were. We should believe them. And we should learn from their mistakes by refusing to be the men they extracted from and by refusing to settle for the women they became. Let me know in the comments, what's the most entitled dating standard you've ever encountered? And at what age do you think women hit the wall in today's dating market? I'll be reading your comments and featuring the best one. If you enjoyed this reality check, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next.